What did the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act do? The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, was created to provide a free and appropriate public education for all children with disabilities. The law guarantees that children with disabilities will receive the same opportunity for education as their peers, regardless of family income, location, or school district boundaries. In the years since it was initially passed, the IDEA has been amended several times to include more specific guidelines for children with special needs. What are the 4 parts of the IDEA? The IDEA is broken down into 4 parts that are meant to address different disparities in educational access. Sections of the IDEA statute include Part A, General Provisions, Part B, Assistance for all children with disabilities, Part C, Infants and Toddlers with Disabilities, and Part D, National Activities to Improve Education of Children with Disabilities. Part A lays out the general provisions of the IDEA, such as the law's purpose and the definitions of the terms used in the statute. Part B details grants available to assist states in offering a free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment for children with disabilities between the ages of 3 and 21. Part C explains grants available to help states provide early intervention services for infants and toddlers up to the age of 2, as well as their families. Finally, Part D describes discretionary grants to support state personnel development, technical assistance and dissemination, technology, and parent training and information centers. What violates the IDEA? The IDEA identifies 6 fundamental principles that school districts must follow to comply with the law. If a district fails to follow any of these principles, it has violated the IDEA. Free, appropriate public education. The IDEA states that every child with a disability is entitled to receive a free, appropriate public education, or FAPE, emphasizing special education and related services that are designed to meet the child's unique needs and prepare the child for further education, employment, and independent living. Appropriate evaluation. Another requirement detailed in the IDEA is that schools must conduct appropriate evaluations of students who are suspected of having a disability. For a disability evaluation to be appropriate under the IDEA, it must be conducted by a team of knowledgeable and trained evaluators. It must use valid evaluation materials and procedures, and it must be administered without discrimination. Individualized Education Plan. An Individualized Education Plan, or IEP, is a written document that describes the educational plan that has been prepared for a student with a disability. The IDEA requires schools to create IEPs that confer meaningful educational benefits to children with disabilities. The document must include specific information about the child and the plan that has been developed to meet the child's educational needs. Least restrictive environment. Under the IDEA, a school must place a student with a disability in the least restrictive environment possible. That ensures the IDEA's goal of allowing the child to participate in the general education classroom as often as it is workable to do so. If an IEP team concludes that a child cannot receive a FAPE in a general education setting, the IEP must allow for the child's education to occur in the LRE, or least restrictive environment, that is appropriate for the student's needs. Parent participation. The IDEA grants parents the right to equal participation in placement and IEP decisions made for their children. School officials must guarantee that the parents of a child with a disability are included in any group that makes decisions about the child. Schools must notify parents of planned evaluations. Parents also maintain the right to decline additional evaluations of their child. Procedural safeguards. Certain procedural safeguards exist to assist parents and students in enforcing their rights under the IDEA law. Some of the procedural safeguards include a parent's right to review their child's educational records, a parent's right to receive notification of meetings regarding their child's evaluation, placement, or identification, and a parent's right to obtain an independent educational evaluation, or IEE, of their child. When should I contact an education attorney? The IDEA envisions a process of identifying and educating children with disabilities that is collaborative and non-confrontational. In a perfect world, districts and parents would join together to ensure that every child with a disability receives a free, appropriate public education. Sadly, in the real world, this process is often more of a battle, particularly when schools attempt to deny a child with a disability the services that they need. If your child has a disability and their school district has violated the IDEA, you should contact an education attorney as soon as possible. A knowledgeable education attorney can help you understand your child's rights and fight to ensure your child gets the education they are legally entitled to receive. Have questions? Call or email anytime. We protect students and parents like you every day. Thanks for watching.